Botes Juanitos in beautiful Ensenada, Baja California, Norte Mexico. It's really great to be with you. Coming down here with my dear friend Anthony, and we have already had a great adventure here in Mexico. We've been talking to a lot of the fishermen here. They are seeing a lot of yellowtail out around Punta Banda and out near Todos Santos Island. We'll get you caught up on that. I'll get you caught up on some other things that are going on. And I've got to tell you that just a little bit later, I want to say around 5 this evening, the lovely Paulina will be here. And while I'm mentioning Paulina, Anthony, why don't we show Paulina's mom, Berenice, right there. There she is. So we are here in beautiful Ensenada, and we are already having just a lovely time. No doubt about it. And I can't wait to see Paulina tonight. That's going to be a lot of fun. We'll find out what is up with her. And of course, I'll get you all caught up here now on the very latest. If you have any questions, fire them in, but come back at around 5 tonight, and we'll have Paulina. We were coming down. We stopped at our favorite place in Tecate, a little carne asada joint called Los Amigos. And man, was it good or what? It was so delicious. We had such a great meal there. And then on the way back, there was a big wreck, and the whole highway was blocked. And a police officer came up to me at my window, and he said, "Hey, go up there, hang a right. You're going to go like up a dirt road, and then you're going to come down and go." I was like, "Officer, do you really think I can do this? I'm going to get all screwed up." And he goes, "I know, you can do it." So with Anthony, we got up in the kind of the hills and the mountains, and we drove, and we finally came out in front of where that wreck was, and we were able to continue on. Salty Rods is with us. Great day, Friedman Adventures family. You're back at the place where I first met you, Phil. Absolutely. Back here, and I still remember that day. That was really cool for me, Salty Rod. I'm so happy you're with us all the time. It's really great to see you. And that was a great day down here in Ensenada. Who knows who else we might meet. By the way, the weather here is absolutely gorgeous. There was some fog earlier, but it's burned off. Little bit of a breeze, not bad at all. And as I said, we've talked to several guys just walking the docks over at Sergio Sportfishing here at Botes Juanitos, and we really have heard of a lot of yellowtail around. Not biting that consistently, not big numbers, but seeing a lot of them. Southern Hallie, hey there, my friend, just here to say hello and enjoy the live, and that means a lot to me. Southern Hallie, thanks for joining us. Remember, you guys, Paulina tonight, 5 o'clock, we'll see what she's up to. And, you know, Anthony was commenting, and I feel exactly the same, the nautical feel to this office here at Botes Juanitos. And it's right on the Malecon. When you're walking down the Malecon, if you're ever going by, they're happy to see you here. They have some whale watch boats and fishing boats and a lot more here. So you can do that. And there's all kinds of places to grab some grub here, in addition to just enjoying the ambience and the people here. So nice, family-oriented place. It's really, really great. By the way, I just want to kind of tease you before I get into the fishing. Tomorrow, here's the plan. We're going to go to Playa Saldamando up north of us here. We're going to fish for bar perch in the early morning hours. Then we're going to go up to Popotla, and we're going to check in with Carlos. And of course, we're videotaping all this. We may not have it for you tomorrow, but subsequent days, you'll be seeing all this. We'll go up there to Popotla, check out Carlos. He's fishing yellows at the Coronado Islands today. I haven't heard anything from him, so I'm guessing he hasn't caught anything, but I could be wrong. He did send me some video of him rolling up on the islands not too long ago, so we'll see how that goes. And then we're going to end up in Rosarito, go see my friend Tony Lozano, who owns a restaurant called La Huerita. And that means, they used to call his mother that. That was her nickname, La Huerita. Huerita is somebody with fair skin. I get called a güero all the time because I have the lighter skin. And his mother kind of had that look to her. His mother, Tony Lozano's mother, is one of the original founders of Puerto Nuevo. Tony's English is pretty darn good. I've got to sit down and talk to him about the story about how Puerto Nuevo came together. It's the lobster village here, and it's really well known. Mundial, around the world, it is known for the lobster. They put out hundreds, thousands of meals every single year. So I might be doing that also. Is the FMM permit, asking Southern Halley, required? Haven't been able to keep up on that information. Gracias, Phil. So Southern Halley, no. It's required kind of if you go below Ensenada. So if you start going south of here, it's required. But we heard all kinds of rumors about there's all kinds of federale checkpoints. You're going to be checked. None of that. Nobody, when we went through Tecate, we came through Tecate. Nobody asked us about that. Nobody questioned us about it. There's been no stops. I've talked to several people. They haven't been stopped. Guys who came through San Isidro and drove down the coastal route down here to Ensenada. Nobody's stopping anybody. So not a problem right now. So it sounds like that has all been resolved. Robert Kramer, good afternoon. Phil, Anthony, and the Friedman Adventures family, thanks for all you do in Mexico Lindo. Man, this is a labor of love, Robert. It's so good to see you. And I think Anthony, who hasn't been down here for 20 years, is already starting to fall in love with this beautiful country and these wonderful people. It's great. By the way, everybody, Anthony and I probably shouldn't say this now in case somebody's listening, but we are officially smugglers. We've got a lot of fishing equipment that we're going to be handing out to some people who really can't afford fishing equipment. So we brought a lot down. Now, one of those people is also Paulina. She's going to get a brand new rod that Chuck Zimmer wrapped for her. Beautiful job. So we'll be presenting that to her. Her birthday is April the 5th, by the way. If you want to wish her a happy early birthday on tonight's 5 p.m. live show with Paulina right here from Ensenada. That's going to be really, really great. I can't wait to do that. But we have a lot of equipment, rods, reels, hooks, sinkers, lures, so much that we're going to give to some commercial fishermen who are pretty poor, some kids. We'll hand out some stuff to them. We're just going to try to make sure we get all of this gear that's been donated, or some of the gear, I should say, into the right hands. We'll be doing that for you, guaranteed. All right, let's talk Mexico for a second. And as we've been talking, and keep the questions coming if you like. I'm always happy to entertain your great questions. You know, Mexico, down in Cabo, we still are catching a few yellowfin tuna. That's going to get better and better and better as this water temperature starts to warm up. We're also seeing more rooster fish along the beach. Water's warming up there also, but still, for the most part, it's been Sierra, smaller roosters, occasional yellowfin tuna offshore when you find a pod of dolphin and it's holding and they want to bite about 20, 25 miles offshore. But we are in this La Nina, and that La Nina has water temperatures cool in the eastern Pacific. Down there in Cabo, up in the Channel Islands, everywhere in between, our water temps are pretty darn cool right now. So we move you up, and the theme is for Baja California, Mexico, Jurel, or yellowtail. We see yellows in Cabo. We see yellows in La Paz, Baja Pirates, and also our friends over there at Tail Hunter International. They're catching yellowtail when they get out and there's not a lot of wind. They have had some very windy days, so we'll just have to keep our eyes on that for you very, very closely. But we continue to move out the peninsula. We see yellows, of course, in Loreto and Mulaje. Beautiful yellowtail fishing and very good fishing going on just south of us here down in San Quintin. About, I want to say, 80 miles south of here, 140 miles below the border, San Quintin. We continue to see some really good fishing for yellows there, and we see some fish here in Ensenada. As I mentioned, we've been talking to a lot of the local guys there, and they've been seeing a lot of yellowtail, so that's good news. And of course, at the Coronado Islands yesterday, we saw some fish. We had 3 fish, and that great catch by that young man from Indiana yesterday on board the San Diego to Seaport Sport Fishing. Really fantastic stuff. Not wide open by any stretch of the imagination up there, but we'll keep our eyes on it. And as I mentioned, Carlos Cortez right now is fishing the Coronado Islands. He's out of Popotla. Popotla is just a little bit to the south of Rosarito Beach, and Anthony and I will be up there checking that out. Let me take a question from Southern Halley. Phil, I would love for you to join us this June and go looking for the bluefin tuna out with the Maras boys. Please let me know if that's possible. I would love to do that. Those guys, I saw those guys at the PCS show, and I know how good an operation that is because I hear it all the time. Ensenada. I think they're out there on Punta Banda. I'm almost sure they are. And if I run out there, probably not going to be able to do it this time, Southern Halle. But if I can do it, of course, I would love to come out and shoot a video of you guys catching bluefin tuna. And incidentally, speaking of bluefin tuna, nice transition for me there. Thank you very much. You know, we've been seeing fish close to Ensenada, 60 miles from here. We've seen fish 75 miles from Point Loma. We've seen fish at 300 miles outside of Cedros Island. That fish had been biting. This fish up here, we've been kind of just looking at it and it's not been eager to bite. And then other times we can't get on it. So the season's trying to start on the bluefin tuna, but it has yet to really show any significant bite. And certainly no consistency at all. Even if we go out and make a catch of 10, 20 bluefin tuna, then we're going to have to add some consistency to that bite. We'll see how that all plays out. In Southern California, or while I'm down here in Ensenada, let me just mention that Rockfishing Spectacular. It's been really great here for lingcod. In fact, Anthony and I just saw some guys with some big coolers bringing up live lingcod. They get shipped to the United States, so that was a cool sight just a moment ago. Rockfishing's good here. It's good down in San Quintin. Up in Southern California, rockfish doesn't open until April the 1st, but there's plenty of sculpin and whitefish right now. And the sheephead, the viejas, have been biting up there. Really good up there in the Channel Islands. We've seen some awesome fishing going on up there, like the Aloha Spirit. They've had limits of sheephead up there in that neck of the woods, which is 2 fish per rod. You start to move a little bit further south, and it seems like there's less sheephead, maybe due to the pressure. Who knows what the reason is? And it's more sculpin and whitefish. We've also seen a few halibut here and there. I talked to Aaron Graham on the Native Sun just the other day, and Aaron's been picking at the fish, but they've had some really big fish. Really, really excellent big fish. So we'll see how that continues. But the halibut bite overall seems to have been a little bit slower lately. Maintaining contact with the bottom is so important when you're fishing halibut. So you want to have your bait on the bottom, and that simply means that you have to fish a really heavy sinker. By the way, my tripod is broken, so Anthony is holding this the entire time. He deserves a medal. Live free, die free. Awesome live, Phil. Awesome because you're here. Live free, die free. Appreciate it so very much. Appreciate you being here with us in beautiful Mexico. And Anthony will tell you, if he was able to speak right now, I think I'm the only one mic'd. There's just a family vibe behind us here. There's people and families and just looking so nice out there. There's a lot of people coming off a cruise ship that just pulled in here. And then there's a lot of Mexican local families that have been here also. So just a beautiful vibe here. We are loving it so much. I love Mexico. Many of you know that I lived in the country for a couple of years. Long time ago, I spent a year in Costa Rica when I was 19, working in the Catholic missions. And then I came back to Mexico with a priest that was my teacher in high school, Father Ignatius. And Padre Ignacio, he was down in an Indian village called Tlaxtlachislahuaca. Say that 3 times fast. He was down there. That was in Guerrero. And in fact, those people, the Amusco Indians, spoke their own dialect. A lot of the people there spoke no Spanish at all. They just spoke Amusco. So anyway, the point I'm making is I have a real love for the people of Mexico and love being down here. It's just a beautiful place. And you know what, man? The fishing's really good also. So it's just like a win-win-win. Glenn Del Mendo from Wicked Tackle Box. I got to tell you, Glenn, Wayne, Shima Bakuro is really happy with this raffle prize that he won. He won one of your Wicked Tackle Boxes. He says, "Hi, Phil and Anthony. From Tackle Confessions to Ensenada Shooting Live. You guys are all over the place. You guys plan on fishing down there while visiting?" Absolutely. Tomorrow morning, we're going to be at Playa Saldamondo. By the way, George Saldamondo's birthday today, the guy that owns that entire stretch of beach. He's a great guy and a good friend of mine. I've known George for many, many years. And happy birthday, George. In case you happen to take a look at this live feed, that would be great if you jumped on here right now. You have all my very, very best. We're going to go there, Glenn. And man, in previous trips there, we've caught slug barred perch. Now, I know I'm getting ahead of myself, and I know that you're thinking that we're going to kill them tomorrow. I'm not going to put the bar too high. Yeah, I'm putting it way up here, man. We're going to catch a big barred perch. I'm actually going to fish because I love that kind of fishing. Anthony's going to fish a little. I'm going to fish a little, but we will definitely let you know how that goes. And then we've got some other stuff just checking up on some fishermen. And then we're distributing fishing gear to many people who can't afford fishing gear. So we're happy to do that. And, just so I can make this perfectly clear, the only way we're able to do that is because of you. You guys donate the gear. You think of others. You put your hand out across the border to lend a helping hand. And that says a lot about Americans and the USA and how generous you all are. So thank you so much for that. Salty Rod 365. I just wanted to hit the Pongas in Ensenada. What equipment do you suggest for a trip on the Pongas? So that is going to depend upon what time of year. And I'll kind of go through a little bit of that with you. But it's going to depend on how long of a trip you choose, what time of the year you choose, what you want to focus on. So obviously, if you're going to focus for bluefin tuna, you're going to want to have big geared 2-speed reels. You're going to want to have the heavy stuff like 100-pound Spectra. And, a lot of their fishing is trolling Mad Mac lures, and they get a jig strike and catch them that way. But sometimes you can roll up on a foamer and throw a popper on them. And, of course, Tuna Riot poppers are so good, those clear poppers with those big hooks that you don't have to change out. They're ready to rock and roll. Those are really good. So you want to have that kind of heavy tackle. Now, if you want to just hang out locally and fish, like Punta or other areas like that, you want to bring some lighter stuff. I wouldn't go too much lighter than 20 pound. And I'll tell you, those hookup baits have been really effective down here. Fishing with my friend Louis Prieto at It's For Real Sportfishing. We were out and we were bouncing just a couple of those little 2-hook hookup bait rig and catching sand bass and shallow water rockfish and so much more. And then if you're going to fish the beach like Anthony and I are, the way we have caught most of our big bar perch there off of that Playa Saldamano area has been throwing a Lucky Crab lure. It works really well. Grunion run here in northern Baja also. So that is also a thing down here. You want to match the hatch and fish that. So we'll see how that all works tomorrow. But it really depends on, what kind of trip you choose. You're going to fish shallow water rockfish. You want to fish deep water cod. You want to fish yellows. Then you're going to want to have a jig stick with 40, 50 pound on it. You want to have yo-yo iron and surface iron. You want to have all that covered just in case the fish are acting a little bit different. Sometimes you'll see those birds picking and those fish are still kind of down the water column. There's a little bit of it up above, but the tip of the iceberg is what you're seeing, and the rest of it, 90% of that school, can be further down that column, that water column, and the way you're going to reach them is with a heavier yo-yo type iron. So I hope I haven't confused you too much. It really depends upon the time of the year. Like, for example, right now, there's not really a chance. There's a chance for bluefin, but we haven't seen too much, so you're fishing cod. So that's what you could be ready for. And then when you come back in on the beach, you can fish calico, sand bass, and maybe pick off a halibut. So just kind of keep your eye on what's biting. I'll do my best to keep you up to date on the morning briefing, on the PM briefing about that. And then that should really help you out. And then when you're ready to choose a Ponga, there's a lot of great operators down here. Botes Juanitos, you've got a guy named Foca who fishes out of here. He does a great job. Somebody just mentioned Mara's Sport Fishing, Southern Alley, a moment ago. You got Sergio Sport Fishing. I was just visiting with him. I've known him for 40 years. I knew his father really, really well. Used to come down here when I was a teenager and fish these boats. And this place, where we are right now, it freaking looked like San Diego during the season. There were people everywhere. There was an air of excitement, electricity in the air down here. Guys yelling in Spanish, marineros, marineros, fishermen, fishermen, pescadores. You'll be the first boat to the fishing ground. Come with us. And they're all trying to get you on their boats. It was super exciting down here. It's not like that anymore here, but there's still some great operators in blackfin sport fishing. My friend Victor, he does a great job. I know I'm leaving people out. Baja Fishing, there's a lot of great operators. Primero Dios, God First Sport Fishing. I'm still going to leave somebody out. So I'm going to stop right there and just make it clear to you that there's a lot of great guys who not only put you on fish, but when you get back in, they put out a spread of sashimi and do so much that really is fantastic. Don't forget, tonight, around 5 o'clock, Paulina, live, right here. Berenice, her mother, and so many others are making us feel right at home. All right, Michael Burke. Hey, Michael, good to have you with us, my friend. Hey, Phil, how about us two old guys, man, you got that, go down and do some yellowtail fishing to the Bay of Los Angeles. What do you think? Thank you, sir. I'm going to say thank you, sir, to you. I would love nothing more than to do that, Mike. I love the Bay of LA. There is some spectacular, I don't have to tell you, but all of you out there, the Bay of LA offers spectacular fishing. Most of the time, the seas are pretty calm. Sometimes it gets a little windy there. But overall, it is a fantastic place to fish. And the drive down, man, you can fish a lot of these beaches if you want to surf fish on the way down. Spectacular. You won't have to twist my arm, Michael. I'll tell you that right now. Glenn Del Mando. Will the fishing charter group you go to also prep and cook your fresh catch? Absolutely. In fact, Glenn, most of these guys now, they have adopted this whole thing where when they come in and process your fish, it becomes a whole, like, I don't want to say ceremony, but it's a thing now. It really is. They're processing your fish while you're drinking a cold beer, or in my case, having a cup of coffee, or maybe, I shouldn't even say it, but a cold monster. And, they're doing their whole thing. They're preparing a sashimi plate. They're making sure that you're kind of bonding with the captain. You get to practice your Spanish. He gets to practice his English. And somehow you find a way to connect. And, of course, the common denominator is the love for the sea and fishing. And it's really, really great stuff. So, yeah, they'll do that. And then also, I know what you're asking. They can vacuum pack your catch. And I set up so when you drive back to the United States, you're good with all your fish. You can take quite a bit of fish back. Another thing you can take back, I haven't checked on this for a few months, but we're going to check on it here in just a little bit. You can take back fresh beef. I'm thinking some tomahawk steaks, man. I'm going to grab a couple of those for my carnivore diet on my way home, and then we're going to just have to break down, Anthony, and just try those out, for all of you. We'll sacrifice and do that. Glenn says, what do you recommend as an operator that can handle lodging and fishing, one-stop shop? What kind of package deals are available? Kind of what Jonathan Roldan does in La Paz. Who does that down here? I should probably start doing that. I have a friend down here, Arturo Martinez. He does all the tour kind of stuff like wine country, pretty much anything you want to do. So we'll have to see if we can't put something together and help you there. But by all means, anybody out there, I will gladly give you my phone number. If you're coming down here, I will tell you what hotel's good to stay at. Let me just tell you this right now. The Hotel Corral is beautiful. It's right there. You got a lot of boats that run out of there. It's a gorgeous place. It's here in Ensenada. The food, the people, everything. We're staying in a hotel, Anthony and I, called the San Nicolas, which is an older hotel here in Ensenada, but it's great. It's got a little casino next door if you want to go play the Dia de los Muertos slot machine or something like that. Scott Buchert is a big one on that one. He goes broke every single time he's down there. But San Nicolas is good. And there's a whole bunch of other hotels. And you can find places during this time of the year anyway from, I want to say, $40 a night to several $100s a night. So there's a wide variety depending upon your taste and what it is, where you want to stay. We could recommend a lot of great places. And then operators, there's really an abundance of great operators here. A testament to how hard the people here in Mexico work and the great job they do and how they really make it a great experience for you. You could definitely do that. There's also whale watching opportunities. There's the Mercado Negro fish market here, which is always great to go through. There's a certain electricity in the air there, especially early in the morning when you go through. You can actually go into the Mercado. You guys know what you're doing. You're fishermen, man. You know how to pick a good fresh piece of fish out. You can do that and then walk 6 feet, and there's just a whole slew of restaurants that will take it and cook it up for you right there. So there's that going on. The wine country's really close to here. So, if your wife or somebody could care less about fishing, like my wife, they can go to the wine country, they can shop in town. There's just so much to do here. It's really a lovely town. Ensenada is a beautiful, beautiful place. Let's see, who do we have? Nate Sal. I got invited to come out on a friend's boat in Ensenada for the first time in late April. What type of fish would I need to prep for that time of the year? Late April, hard to say, Nate, man. I hate to guess at it. It could definitely be yellowtail. That could definitely be in the cards. We're in this La Nina. I keep mentioning that, this cold water. It could push our season back. So like you're used to seeing barracuda show up in April or May, and maybe this year they don't show up until, mid-May or late May. So it's hard to say. Could be yellowtail. It definitely could be bluefin tuna. It could be albacore this year. Maybe. I doubt it. April's a little early for that. Looking, especially in the La Nina. I know you think I'm delusional on this, but I really think this is the year maybe. That would probably occur sometime in June, July. July 4th used to be the date when you'd start looking for algae, but we'll leave that kind of out. Calico bass when the water gets up over 60 degrees, and even before that, you can pick off some bass. It's really going to be up in the air. It could be rockfish because the surface bite hasn't manifested itself. It's really going to have to pay attention, Nate, to what's going on. I'm happy to keep my eye on it for you. You can always send me a text if you like, 657-227-6459, like when you're getting close to your trip. And I'm sure the guy that has his boat here in Ensenada, he'll kind of know. So a week ahead of time, you might want to check with him, and then he can tell you, man, you better bring some surface iron because the yellows are full speed, or we're going offshore and we're fishing for the bluefin. Bring some poppers, bring some knife jigs, You're just going to have to let it play out this year. And really, that's kind of the whole fun to this game. It's so enigmatic. It's so mysterious that when it unfolds, it's really, really exciting. Live free, die free. Phil, are you required on how many pounds of fish you are able to bring back into the United States? Live free, die free? That's a really good question. I don't know the answer to that. I assume there's some kind of limitation when you're bringing it back. But I brought back ice chests full of fish and never had a problem. So I'm going to check into that. Please remind me if I blow this. Maybe I can figure it out while I'm down here right now. But in most cases, you can haul as much fish back as you want, as long as you're still maintaining limits. And once you cross the border, don't forget, once you cross into the United States, let's say you catch a black sea bass down here, and that's legal. And then you cross into the United States, it's a possession thing there. So you're going to have to prove that where you caught that black sea bass if a fish and game police officer were to stop you in the United States. So got to keep that in mind. You got to kind of, keep some kind of record of where you caught it, who you fished with, and make sure you have that in your back pocket. The likelihood of you getting stopped while you're driving down the freeway is very, very remote. But, we'll keep that in mind. And I think you'll be able to bring back as much fish as you want. Like, for example, down there at Cedros, normally you can fly back with about 50 pounds in an ice chest, I think. I mean, you could literally drive back with a couple 100 pounds for sure of yellowtail when you come back. So, good stuff. Salty Rods, what is your favorite restaurant in Ensenada? Your go-to spot? Good question, man. There are so many good places there. Like for breakfast, there's a place called Victor's, which is really good, just down from here, a little bit south of downtown. There's also a place called Alfonso's, which is right back here, and there's alfresco dining, outdoor dining. That place is really good. We just had a breakfast at the San Nicolas Hotel. I had a chorizo omelet with some queso, some cheese that was to die for. And what'd you have, Anthony? Oh, you had machaca, which is shredded beef like in an omelet with onions and bell peppers. That was really good. And now there's some new places here in town that are really good on the beef. In fact, they have like the Brazilian steakhouse kind of experience where guys run around with different cuts of beef and take care of you. I will tell you that La Guarita in Rosarito Beach, I mentioned that a moment ago, is a fantastic seafood place. But Tony Lozano also has great steaks and really good Mexican food, like the chili rellenos there are to die for. And there's a steakhouse in Rosarito called La Estancia. La Estancia. And you'll love the vibe. I mean, it's got like a hunting kind of feel to it with a fireplace and a lot of animals mounted on the wall. And the food there is so good, and the service is really great. La Estancia. I know you asked about Ensenada, but now I'm starting to get carried away. And when we crossed the border at Tecate and came in, I mentioned Los Amigos. It's just a little kind of taco joint. But man, those guys, they are the best there. They are so nice. The food's affordable, and it's freaking to die for. It's really good carne asada, delicious stuff. Those are a few of the restaurants that are really good. What's the name of that? Oh man, El Tampanco is a place in Rosarito. Also, great breakfast, really good steaks, really interesting ambiance. It's like an antique kind of vibe to it, where you're sitting and there's an old like typewriter that looks like it's from the 40s, and all kinds of old kind of record players and stuff. So that place, El Tampanco, is also a really, really great place. And hey, I'll be perfectly candid with you. I like eating in taco stands. I enjoy eating out on the street. My wife, who's from Costa Rica, she's not so big on that. She doesn't like it as much as I do, but I've been eating in taco stands for a long time, probably over 50 years down here. My brother and I and my kids and all of us do that. So I'm not beyond finding a really busy taco stand. There's some right when you come into Ensenada. There's a couple out there, and all you got to do is look over there, and you'll see 500,000 people crowded in there, man. And that's a good gauge normally, especially if they're locals. Bunch of locals in there, you know it's going to be good. So there's a few of the restaurants that I really, really like. No question about that. Let's see. Nate, thank you so much. Nate loves the show. We love you, Nate, for your support. We really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Also, now, Glenn says, if you decide to go fishing when you're already in Ensenada, are you required to have one? Are you able to pay for one in Ensenada? What are the fees like? I'm guessing fishing license, Glenn? Is that what you're talking about? Does that sound like what he's talking about? Yeah, you can get that, no problem at all. It is not a problem at all. So that's not going to be a problem to pick up a fishing license. The guys here can get it for you. You can buy them online. Sometimes that website's a little bit hard to navigate, but not a problem. You can do that for sure. Let's see, live free, die free. I'm asking because I'm trying to put together a 2-week trip with friends and family. All right, so, yeah, I mean, those are a bunch of great places. Jason Lawler's probably ready to kill me. Thought you were going to go with me to Mexico. Jason, we got invited down here late last night. I didn't want to call you and wake you up. Don't worry, man. I'll come right back with you again, man. We're only down there for a day. We had to deliver some stuff to Paulina and get some reels across the border. Don't worry. We'll do it again. Live free, die free. I love a great pastor taco. Who doesn't? Man, that is the great stuff. I got to work on the Amigo the next few days. Okay, I thought you were saying April 20th. Before that was good, but I may have misunderstood you. Yeah, the license, not a problem, Glenn. You can pick up that fishing license. As a matter of fact, you can go to 22nd Street Landing. I think they'll do it there for you. I think I bought my Mexican license at 22nd Street Landing. You can, shop around, and a lot of landings will take care of that for you. I know the San Diego-based landings work, but I think you can do that. No problem at all there at 22nd Street Landing. Tony's going to kill me now. He probably did me a favor and doesn't want that out there. KJ, hey KJ, good to see you, my friend. Have a taco for me. If you see Victor from Blackfin, tell him hello. Next, you go to Ensenada. Let's go fishing. Mag 12 swim baits. Mag 12 swim baits are number one, man. Those are some really good swim baits. I'll tell you that. Paulina, live tonight, 5 o'clock. Make sure you come back and join us. Who knows what kind of shenanigans we're going to get into tonight with the lovely Paulina. Should be really a lot of fun. Glenn Delmendo, Would you recommend changing U.S. currency to pesos prior to coming down, or do folks down there take U.S. cash? Yeah, either way works fine. I usually change, so I have pesos, but either way will work just fine. And don't forget, if you get good service, to tip and take care of people. The salaries down here are not like U.S. salaries, so if you show some kindness and generosity, if people deserve it, they work hard, and that's just the way it is down here. Everybody's nice, everybody works hard, everybody does a great job. Keep that in mind. It really goes a long way. And remember what my parents used to tell me, man, when you come down here, you put your USA jersey on, man, and you represent the USA for the country that it is. Kind, generous, looking out for others. It's what makes America such a great country, that we all do that. And you can show that when you come down here or wherever you travel in the USA. Quentin, what's up, my friend? Hey, Phil, thanks for all the great contact. It is my pleasure. Just kind of wandering around Ensenada here, having those great carne asada this morning in Tecate. That adventure Anthony and I got mixed up in, where we had to go off-road in my Lexus. That was so much fun, man. He's going, turn at this fence, and he's looking at his phone like I'm going, does he really have this wire? And everybody's following us. And sure enough, man, it worked out great, to the point when we got down there, guys looking at us like going, should we go out there? Is that? And we're going, yeah, go for it, man. You're good. You're good. So really good stuff. KJ, awesome. Phil, thank you. KJ, thank you so very much. Mag, 12, swim baits. Man, those things are number one. We are also, speaking of, somebody asked me about the meals down here in good restaurants. We've already hit one, and we kind of filmed that. So we may hit, not may, we're going to go hit Tony Lozano's place. So La Huerita, we'll make sure we get that for you. Maybe we'll go by La Estancia. We'll go by a few other places and make sure we shoot some video there so you can see the food and see the ambience of the place and check that out. Be my pleasure to do that. Tommy Tar, great basking shark seen off Newport Beach. Strange winter. Breaking news from my friend Tommy Tar, a big basker seen off of Newport Beach. We see those things up in the Santa Monica Bay a lot. In fact, those things freaked us out, my brother and I, and the guys. We used to have a little skiff out of Redondo, like a 12-footer, that you definitely had to bail out. It had a leak, so you had to just constantly bail while you were out. But yeah, we see those big baskers all the time. They're gentle giants, but when you first see one, it can freak you out, no question about it. Hit that like button. I'm not going anywhere. We got way too many people on here watching this live video from Botes Juanitos in beautiful Ensenada, Baja California. It is so nice here. It's a lovely afternoon. People are walking by. There's a cruise ship that unloaded some people, and there's a lot of families. I know you can see grandma over there, I'm guessing, with her granddaughters and the kids. I see them over there having a really good time, and I just love the vibe here. It's family. It's really, really good stuff. It is so nice, and I'm wondering where Dan Lightfoot is. I don't see Dan on here at all. Who has the best birria for breakfast as live free and die free? Birria, everybody, is really, a lot of people think it's goat, chivo. It can be, but it's a method of cooking down here where it's kind of almost like a pressure cooker kind of vibe to it. And I don't know, there's a lot of birria places. The name of the place I'm thinking of doesn't come to mind right now. Hopefully, I'm old, live free, die free. I got one foot on a banana peel and the other one on a grape. So if I can remember, but there's a lot of good birria places around here. You can get birria with carne de res, which is beef, or you get chivo, which is the goat. So they're both really, really good. There's a lot of good birria places here for sure. Glendale Mendo, when you head back down there again, would like to travel down with you guys. We would love to have the man from Wicked Tackle Box with us to get a feel for the land and how long it actually takes to get down there from Los Angeles. Well, Glenn, let me tell you, because Anthony was like, all of a sudden we're in a foreign country and we're on some back road trying to get around a wreck, And he's going, we're like 2 hours into this adventure, and we're already in Mexico. This is the coolest thing I've ever experienced in my life. It's really close, and I would be happy to bring you down and show you around. I've been doing this for a long time down here, and Anthony was even saying he hadn't been down here for 20 years, so he kind of wanted to go with me to get a feel for it. I did this with my kids since they were really small, and I got them to the point where at one point, I forget when that happened, but they were like about 18, 20, where I said, okay, you guys can do this now, man. You have at it. And they love traveling down here, bringing their family now. So happy to do that. I would absolutely love to do it. KJ, we have to get together. Daniel Hottaway called me to do a sponsored trip. I will let you know more info when I have it. Good. Daniel's a great kid on the Island Spirit. You're going to love that. Jason Lawler, I make birria tacos on the Amigo all the time. Queso tacos. Yes, he does. Hey, Jason, send me a message later if you want me to pick something up for you while I'm down here, but I'm going to come back really quick. I thought you said before April 20th. I could be wrong on that. Live free, dry free. It's hell to hit 60 plus. My friend, I'm with you. It's, oh, yeah, I know what you mean. 60 plus years, I guess? Yeah. Man, honestly, I got to be totally candid with all of you. I feel better now than I did in my 30s. I was a way bigger dude in those days, so that might have something to do with it. But getting rid of the, I know, you're probably sick of hearing this, getting rid of the processed foods and the crap, anything that comes in a box pretty much is useless. You want something with just a few ingredients, like a steak. You know what ingredients are in a steak? Beef. That's it. There's no red dye number 14 or anything like that. I feel so good, and my energy level is just through the roof. Although it was a little, up at 3 this morning and 3 or 4 or 5 live shows yesterday. I was dragging just a little bit, but I got my energy back. And when Paulina shows up, you know what I do when Paulina shows up here? I run the other way as fast as I can because she's nuts. No, Paulina's great, and she'll be here around 5 o'clock. I may just, who knows, the way this is going, Anthony, we may just keep rolling right in to when Paulina shows up. I thought I'd be on here for like 10 minutes, and this has turned into a great show, and I'm enjoying every single minute of it. Almost 50 people watching right now. Welcome to Potes Juanitos in beautiful Ensenada, Mexico, where people are great, the food is wonderful, and the fishing's fantastic. We're going to experience some of that fishing tomorrow. I guarantee you. I'm Jason Lawler on the Amigos. One heck of a great chef. Live free, die free. Jason Lawler. I make birria and can it. Oh, he cans it. Make it with chivo, with goat, which is really delicious. Michael Limon says, good evening, Phil. Tell Paulina I said hi. Michael, make sure you come back at 5 o'clock so you can send Paulina your very best, but I will do that for you, young man. Nice to see you here. Jason Lawler. Yes, would like to go down before Easter. We will talk later. Can't wait to get out fishing. Yeah, good luck. Keep me informed on the Amigo. Amigo is one of my favorite boats anywhere. It's a beautiful rig out of 22nd Street Landing in San Pedro, California. You can call the landing and get info on the Amigo by calling 310-832-8304. You are going to love it. I guarantee you that. All right. Am I going to get a break? Man, anybody else have a question? I'm not going anywhere. If you have any more questions about fishing Mexico, traveling down here, just to kind of summarize one more time, the FMM has not been an issue. That is the tourist card that was widely being circulated out there in some news circles, that you couldn't come to Ensenada without an FMM, that there were checkpoints and they were sending you back to Tijuana if you didn't have one, and that is not true on this trip. And other people I've talked to, just not true. So we'll keep our eyes on that for you, but that doesn't appear to be the case. You go a little bit further, like down towards San Quintin, then it might become an issue. It's always been the rule that you're supposed to have an MM when you go further down. Sometimes when I was younger, I would get them. Other times, we would just talk our way out of it. So at this age, we want to dot the I's and cross the T's. So we'll keep our eyes on it. Glenn Del Mendo, Phil and Anthony, good luck tomorrow fishing. Man, it's going to be fun. Take a bunch of pictures and video. Looking forward to see your prize catch. Glenn, I'm praying. 7:30 high tide tomorrow. Lucky Crab Lures, big old bar perch, Playa Saldamondo, which is such a cool place. You can catch big calicos off the rocks there, but big bar perch. And there's other stuff you can catch. In fact, Anthony and I should walk down to the Mercado Negro and buy some mussels or some other kind of bait so we can smell the hell out of our hotel room tonight and they'll throw us out of there. No, we definitely should get some bait because that's a great place. But, man, you just go straight there and fish those lucky crabs. You can do really, really good. There's Dan Lightfoot. I knew he would show up. How was the trip going down there? It was an adventure, Dan. It was great. No problem crossing the border there in Tecate. We shot across the border. We went to Los Amigos Carne Asada. I told the boys, no tortillas. We just want meat. You can throw the salsa and the guacamole on the side. And it was so good. It was to die for. And then, Dan, I don't know if you've been listening, but we ran into what I presume was an accident. And we were just backed up. And it looked bad. And there was an officer walking at me. And I said, hey, officer, what's the deal? And he said, hey, I'm going to send you up there. You're going to make a right-hand turn. You're going to go up a dirt road pretty far up there. And then you're going to eventually make a left. And you're going to come out ahead of the accident. You can do it. And I looked at him. I said, you don't know me very well. I'm going to screw this up somehow. And he goes, no, you got this. And I had a co-pilot, Anthony, with his maps. And we pulled it off, man. Dan, you're not going to believe it. But we pulled it off, popped out. And then it was a smooth drive through the Baja wine country into beautiful Ensenada to the Hotel San Nicolas. And beautiful drive, great food. We've just had a wonderful time. I was just saying to Anthony a second ago, I said, what's the date? I was trying to do a thumbnail. And he said, March 25th. Your birthday was 2 days ago. And I go, seems like a month ago when we had 200 people down there on the beach for that event. And it really does right now. Really, really cool stuff. All right, let's see. We've got JC. What's the name of the restaurant you are at? So, JC, we're not at a restaurant. We are at Botes Juanitos, which is docks. There's docks with tons of boats here. There's fishing boats. There's harbor cruise boats. Over there where Anthony is pointing you at, the shipyard over there, everybody, I'm going to tell you something. We really should go over there. Drop a comment if you want us to do that. You know what boat is being worked on over there? The First String. Many of you know that boat. That is the boat that rescued Desiree Rodriguez. You guys have all seen the podcast with Mark Paisano and Paul Strasser and Desiree. The boat that Mark and Paul were running was the First String. And many of you know that boat. We found it. It's over here in the shipyard. And I think we owe it to you to go over there and film it at some point in time, one of these years. If enough of you throw a comment up there and say, go do it, then we will definitely do it. Hit that like button, please. We deeply appreciate it when you do that. So we're not at a restaurant right now, but we will be a little bit later. Live free, die free. What time of the season would you advise for catching mahi-mahi? For here, that's going to differ from year to year also. Dubious in a La Nina. They're a warm water species. Dorado, one of the fastest growing fish in the sea. You can actually measure their growth almost daily. They grow so fast. You got to remember that Dorado can attain weight of like 50 pounds, sometimes even bigger than that. And they die when they're 4 years old at most. So they grow fast. I mean, to go from 0 to 70 pounds or 60 pounds in a couple of years, 2-3 years, is remarkable. Their growth is so fast, but they love warm water. And La Nina is cold water. And weird things happen in this game all the time. I mean, it's strange sometimes, like catching bluefin and yellowfin tuna, as we were on board the Independence in 67-degree water. That's a little cool for yellowfin for sure. Bluefin's not really an anomaly. That happens all the time. But that yellowfin was in that water, and that water was off color. It's normally purple-blue. Really beautiful, but weird things happen. But generally, you're not going to catch mahi, dorado, dolphin fish, as they're also referred to. You're not going to catch them in cool water. So if it's going to happen this year, I would surmise that it would probably happen in the fall, September, October, August maybe, when you get more warm water. And if you get a warm water push-up, even a bubble of warm water, sometimes you get a bunch of flatheads that get stuck in that and get forced up here. You find a kelp, and maybe it'll be loaded with those flatheads. Beautiful fish, acrobatic, great to eat, and fast growing. So they are really cool. Michael Emo, how is the weather over there? Down here, Michael, the weather's just beautiful. I'm going to say high 60s probably right now. You look at people and nobody's in a jacket. Everybody's just enjoying the sunshine has come out, Michael. It's really beautiful here right now. And a little earlier, it was a little cooler because we had some fog. But overall, it's just gorgeous down here. Michael, I wish you were here. And I know that Paulina's going to be sad that you are not here with her. All right, let's see. Manila ice cream. 1 margarita, 2 margarita, 3 margarita, fish. About 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I would have been right there. Now it's 1 coffee, 2 coffee, 20 coffees, fish for me. But you can definitely come down here and have a great margarita and have a lot of fun. When I told you I met Sergio from Sergio Sportfishing here, I told him a story. Speaking of margaritas, I'll just retell it to you. I went out on the Ensenada Clipper. I was 25-ish, maybe younger than that. My dad was down here. When I got in, there was a pretty girl that worked at the sport fishing thing, and she said, Felipe, come here, Felipe. So I go over and she says, your father is really drunk. And I said, my father doesn't drink. And she goes, your father is really drunk. You have to do something. I said, I'm thinking the guy's had a heart attack or something. He doesn't drink. Well, apparently he went down and he didn't realize how strong they poured the margaritas down here. And he was drunk. He really was. It was so funny. I took a photo of the poor guy and showed it to my mom when we got home. She was shaking her head laughing. She was cool with it, but it was really funny. So, yeah, 1 margarita, 2 margaritas. Hit that like button, says Michael Limo. Michael, thank you so much. Live free, die free. Yes, go over there. Let's see. Go over. Oh, they want to see the first string. We'll have to do that. It's a ways away from here. So maybe we'll go over there before Paulina shows up and go shoot some video there. Glenn Delmendo, I remember the first string, fished on that boat, 1997 to 2000. There you go. I would like to see that boat. Fished on it multiple times, said Dan Lightfoot. Uh-oh, pressure's mounting. Antonio, you're hearing this? Isaac, a.k.a. The Sack, says, good afternoon, Isaac. It was so good to see you and the kids at our big surf fishing festival. We're going to have to do that again. And someday it would be so cool to get a group like that down here in Mexico and just enjoy this, whether it's fishing, whale watching, shopping, going to the wine country, going on a hike. There's just too much to do here in beautiful Mexico, beautiful Ensenada. It is truly a great place. Don't forget to hit that like button and share these videos with a friend. We deeply appreciate it. Well, I am glad, I was feeling bad. We didn't get the morning briefing up this morning, and I'm thinking, man, Anthony's like, you're going to have to do the morning briefing and the afternoon briefing in one, and I think we've made up for it here. I've had a really great time with you all. Thank you all for joining us. You have another question before we sign off here, please ask away. Maybe some of you want us to run off and go see if we can find the first string over there. We might be able to do that. And then around 5 o'clock tonight, I'll be sitting here with Paulina, and you get your questions ready. April 5th is her birthday. We've got a beautiful custom rod for her from Chuck Zimmer, Z Custom Rods, that we'll be presenting her with. And if I can fool her and make her forget about who actually gave her that rod, I'll tell her it's my birthday present to her. Live free, die free. I never drink alcohol on a trip in early days. Now I'm more relaxed and have a few. I am more into just having a great time and watching everyone else slam the rail. Live free, die free. I'm right there with you, man. I'm with the video camera. I'm trying to capture the moment. I'm trying to capture that moment when the grandfather watches the grandson catch the fish, and I get it on video, and then they get to rewatch it and share it with everybody. I'm really into that now. Caught a lot of fish, and I still like to fish a lot, but if I had to pick between the two, whether I can capture that for somebody, I'll probably pick that now because it's really special when you're able to save something like that. All right, my friends, I'm going to say goodbye for a little while. Whoops, I'm dropping microphones around here. I'm going to say goodbye, and of course, we'll be back with more. Should we walk out? Yeah, we'll take you guys out. I'll bring your comments just in case. Let's go out here to the Malecon and just show you out here for a second. And where'd Anthony go? Oh, there he is. I thought you ditched me. So you can see all the shops here. I'll point you down on the end there, and in just a little bit is the Mercado Negro. That's the fish market. Here are just so many shops if you want to do the tourist thing and shop here. And then as we take a look out here, you can see a lot of the boats here that are docked up. Check that out. Those are the docks here. Anthony's giving you a little look. El Cortez, Berenice. And what else can I show you here? Well, you know, it's just a great place, Ensenada. We'll bring you back up here for a second. And there's places with alfresco dining. Somebody was mentioning the 1, 2, 3 margaritas. That's going on all over here. See a guy walking down the street. I don't know what those are, but they look delicious. And just beautiful Ensenada. Hey, have a great one. Look, we got information on Botes Bonitos. They were started here in 1960. How's that sound? You got sport fishing, and you got harbor cruises, and you've got so much more. Hey, I'm going to say goodbye. Jason Lawler, can't wait to bring you down here with us, man. Like I said, this came up like last minute late, and we were on the road at 3 this morning, so I didn't want to wake you up. Let's put it that way. All right, my friends, have a great one. Always great spending time with you. 5 p.m., back here again with Paulina. We'll see you then.